Hello.
Say hello again.
Hello.
This is going to be a very, well, for me, very amusing podcast because I don't know if anybody's spoken to Josie this week, but do some speaking, Josie.
I have very much lost my voice. This sounds good to what it sounded like, though. I literally on Monday could not speak. Tuesday, I sounded like a young boy trying to break his voice. And today I've gone the total other way. That sounds so deep. So yeah, please bear with my voice.
Oh dear. So yeah. Well, we've got 3 questions that we have been asked this week for us to dig into. So we're christening this. So me and Josie, we're christening this the Rant and Ramble. So we're currently strolling along, for those of you who know the area, down past Churchill playing fields. So if you hear football going on in the background or dogs barking or whatever it may be,
Crunchy
that is
feet from work.
crunchy feet. Yeah, or if Josie just starts hacking and coughing and running out
Yeah,
of
sorry
oxygen.
guys.
That is
Pre-warning.
a thing. So we've had 3 questions and definitely need to dig into a couple of them in more detail. So Lily's question about DOMS particularly, and obviously Judith's around recovery. Should we jump into Eve's first though, because that might be a slightly easier one to...
Yeah, so welcome Eve to our Foundation Health. So we got a brand new question from somebody who is just starting out in the gym. She said, hey, just wanted to ask how heavy my weight should be for the exercises that use them. Bear in mind, for context, this is an individual who has literally just walked into the gym, not really used one before. Me and her have only done a landmine workout together, so particularly not used much else.
Yeah, well, shall I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say this one's quite simple because it's basically a case of start off nice and light. There's almost no weight that's too light at this stage. What you want to be in a position is where you are confident that you can move the weight successfully, that you're not going to damage yourself, all those kind of good things. And obviously the lighter that you go for that, the better. And what you then want to do is to say, actually, today's workout session was too easy, therefore I need to add some more weight on next time I do it. And you will spend the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of your journey basically working out what your weights should be, in inverted commas.
Form is so important.
Yeah.
You know, I actually saw an Instagram post today, and I'm going to steal it, of somebody saying about like 3 things that he got told like in the gym and 3 things you'll never ever listen to. And it was basically, so this guy's called David, and he was saying that somebody said that it's okay to have a rounded back during a deadlift. Now, if you've been taught by a decent PT, you know that's not true.
Yeah.
It is so dangerous. It is overflexing your spine. It's putting so much pressure on your lumbar. It's not a good thing. But so many people believe that's true, whereas it usually happens because they're ego lifting or they're overlifting what they think they can do.
Too much weight on the bar.
Yeah, too much weight, definitely. It is so important just to literally focus on form, dropping back. That is in and outside of the gym. You know, if many of you know me, I'm mainly quite a runner now. That's my new title this year. I'll have a new trend next year. Watch me cycle or something. But even then, you know, dropping back, focusing on form, things like that is dropping your ego no matter what it is, and really focusing on making sure everything feels comfortable before you add on that weight. You know, I maybe be stronger in my upper body, but when I learn a new exercise, I totally drop down to what I think I can lift just to make sure it feels comfortable.
Yeah. And then that second session, third session, you're like, I'm gonna add a little bit more weight on. That principle of progressive overload. I used to take the example with people when I was teaching them to back squat. If you take the empty barbell to start off with, which weighs just 20 kilos, and every time you squat, you only put on 2.5 kilos at a time. Yeah. If you squat 3 times a week, which a lot of people will be doing if they're doing a full body workout like we program, you actually will have 200 kilos on that bar within 10 months. Yeah, so even if you start off really, really light, and you might be thinking that's far too light, even just tacking that little bit on, but then consistently building, you're actually going to have an awful lot of weight on in a very, very short space of time
Yeah.
anyway. So don't worry about kind of getting it right, getting it wrong for your first few sessions. I think what we're saying is try to work it out as you go along, and don't be afraid of going too light, and make sure that your form's good.
I also think, a little bit out of topic but also in with it, is if you look at that weight, do you know that you can fail safely on it if you need to? So going back to the barbell, when squatting, yes, obviously, hopefully you all know how to set up the safety bars correctly. That is the side bars. But also knowing that, like, you know that you can stop at a safe point. If you're not sure that you can do that weight, maybe grabbing somebody or knowing that the safety bars are set up, because if I didn't, then I would go a little bit lighter and then gradually add on, because if I know I can hit 10 reps on that weight, then I know if I add a little bit more, I can hit 8, rather than going, all right, I hit 10, I'm going to add another like 10 kilos. Things like that, is knowing that you know how to stop safely is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a really good point from that as well, is saying that actually, if you feel on a set the weight has been too light, just do a few more reps at the end of the set. When it comes to building additional volume or progressive overload, the weight on the bar is only one variable to play with, isn't it? So yeah, just stick some more reps on.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be quite an easy answer, and I feel actually that's
There's quite a lot more we can go into that. So if anybody has any questions, let me know how else we can progress on that. Because like we said, we can rant and ramble all day about it.
Yeah. We're going to end up in Holywell at this stage.
Yeah. We're currently way past Churchill. On a question, should we go to Judith?
Let's go Judith next. Sure.
Okay, let me find it. So Judith's question was, is it normal for recovery to take longer as you get older, even if training smarter? Is it related to sleep, as people tend to sleep less on reaching middle age?
Yeah.
Yes and no. So from my point of view, like, sleep is obviously so crucial.
Yeah, it's huge.
And no matter what age, it will affect you. So going back to my own example, I have terrible sleep. I always have since I was little. I was the kid that only slept 4 hours, and if you look at my Garmin today, it's still, my average is 4.5 hours. And it does really, really affect you. I know from days that I've had 7, how much better I perform compared to 4. So sleep is a massive impact no matter what age. So even getting older, I would say it still impacts you just as much as it does for a younger body.
Yeah, definitely. I would sleep, just kind of on that topic before we get a little bit more into general recovery stuff. Sleep's the body is essentially the time when your body resets everything. So kind of replenishes hormones and enzymes and that kind of whole biochemical factory, gets all of its replacements put in. And if it doesn't have the opportunity to do that, then you're effectively already running on empty when you get up the next morning to go. And there's no other way, even if you're looking at kind of good quality refueling, keeping your stress levels down, all that kind of stuff, your body still has to sleep to do that replenishment of certain kind of vital resources in the mix. And if you don't do it, then you're always going to be struggling a little bit. And it is true, as we age, we tend to sleep that little bit worse or that little bit less. It tends to be very much into, I'm going to say, much older adults, not usually that kind of 40, 50-year-old per se. But yeah, it is a biggie. I'm going to say, from my perspective, as a member of the older generation here.
Wow. Anybody your age will be offended right now.
But did you know Age UK's definition of somebody who is old is somebody over the age of 50?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're not 50 yet. So
I'm not 50 yet, so I'm fine.
Got another year, mate.
Thanks.
I've got many years, thankfully. I feel like I'm turning 50. I'm so broken.
Yeah.
However, sleep as well. Going on to menopause and perimenopause, postmenopause, all of it. Some people sadly do get really affected by it, whether it's like hot flushes, anxiety, stress like that. There's a couple of things that, as a nutritionist, that I would also suggest. So having a look at your tea bags, whether you're, obviously I'm hoping that none of you are having actual caffeine from a coffee past at least 4 o'clock in the day. And no matter how stressful your day looks ahead, I really, really don't recommend it. But also tea bags is something that people don't realise can affect you massively. So swapping to things like decaf tea bags can be a massive difference as well. Or choosing a more herbal tea before going to bed. But again, choosing caffeine free. You know, a lot of people have maybe digestive issues after tea, so they go and grab a green tea to help with it. However, green tea also has caffeine in, so make sure to get a decaf green tea, because that is just as effective.
Yeah, I'm really, really guilty of that one. Cup of tea is just my go-to, and then you're suddenly lying there at 11 o'clock at night going, what did I do wrong? Oh, it was the cup of tea that I had at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it does have a lot more caffeine in than you actually think. Things like that, and obviously alcohol has a massive impact too in hydration status, so making sure to be drinking enough. But also, again, if you're going to bed at like 9 o'clock and you're having a cup of tea 10 minutes before and then you're like, why am I waking up for a wee? Like, this is going to be a massive impact. We recommend you should not have anything to drink unless it is obviously a light bit of water 30 minutes beforehand, because it will also impact your sleep and try to get some deep sleep.
Yeah, and I think on that recovery around nutrition, hydration, all those kind of things, to go back to as we age, there's an awful lot that kind of does happen. Again, looking at that kind of biochemistry of what goes on, I don't think there's much point in really digging into the details of it, because in terms of actionable points, it doesn't really help to have the information. I think what it's critical to understand, though, is that as we age, recovery becomes more important. So really to be focused on prioritising making your recovery as good as you can do around all those things that we do know affect recovery: sleep, hydration, good nutrition, stress levels, all that stuff.
Bloody seagulls.
So yeah, because effectively as you age, your body just responds slower to whatever kind of stimulus or inflammatory response, whatever it is that's going on. So you still adapt the same way to training, for example, but your body will adapt slower to the training stimulus than somebody who is 20 years younger than you. Similarly with your recovery, your body will adapt to the recovery that you throw at it, but it will adapt slower and is just less effective to that. So yeah, there's no kind of right or wrong answer here, I think, Judith. It's just a question of, yes, it does affect you as you age more, but you still just need to prioritise it harder. I think that's the thing.
So I think another one, which I don't, and there's so much depth we can go into, so I'm literally going to skim over it, is stress. Like, you know, my stress factor in life is so different to yours, you know. Like, I don't have a mortgage or a kid to be looking after, so that is not a stress part of me. But then the other part is I'm self-employed. Most of you know I'm getting a new job, so that's a big stress for me. I am getting a house, so things like that is so stressful that will be impacting my sleep. But for example, you know, talking about recovery, that might not be your stress, and your stress might be way more than mine, so it's kind of like that. Differences. It is a big impact. Are you okay?
Understanding your own stresses is huge within that, and then trying to take those steps to mitigate against them. And without knowing each one individually, I say it is tricky to give very specific advice.
So we're just doing a little U-turn.
So if there's more that people want on that, if there's kind of specific things around recovery, drop those in the comments in the group chat for us as well.
Let us know like what it is that you struggle with in recovery. Is it like the motivation, or is it the energy? Is it that you feel like you're just so much more behind on what you were able to give, for example? Things like that. Like, let us know what it is, and we can see if we can pick at it.
Yeah, because there's definitely stuff, I'm going to say, from a nutrition point of view, to be saying, look at these in terms of food sources or whatever, or food timings. It might be in terms of sleep habits. There's mindfulness stuff. There is so many options to build into that good quality recovery. Let us know if there's specifics that you want on that. Cool, I think we've done that one.
I think also mainly covers Linny. So again, another welcome person. I'm getting used to the new workouts. Legs have been pretty sore afterwards, aching, not injured. Is it safe to work out again if it's really stiff, or is it judgment call? So that again relates back to kind of Judith's question, and also similar to Eve's as well. But the safety side of it, that is, so it's a really hard one, because every athlete individual is so different. So for example, when we work with athletes, for example, runners, when they're talking about stiffness, you know, I don't want to then make them do a track session knowing that a hamstring could pop at any moment because it's so tight. Sorry if anybody's just like imagine that, because that sounds really grim. But if I was to tell you, if you've just done a squat day and your hamstrings are feeling it, or like, for example, anything deadlifty, but it is absolutely safe to go do an upper body day the next day.
100%.
You know, it really depends on the sport and it depends on your workout. Now, I know for a fact that for your workouts, you're doing full body. And I would say pretty much everybody on the app is doing full body type of workouts. So obviously that's going to be a really hard one, because if your legs are sore and you're having to train legs the next day, that will impact it.
Yep. Yeah. It is. It's a tough one. I think I got, because Linny, I think you said it was mainly muscular. I felt like it was muscular rather than joint related. So it's been able to first and foremost make that judgment call about what is the issue. And it's 100%. It's a case of, like Joe said, if it's muscular, if it's just a question of you're not used to that particular training, or you've maybe overdone it on the weights a little bit or whatever, and it is purely muscular. Essentially, from a coaching point of view, it's a case of go and do another workout.
Push through the DOMS.
Yeah, it might feel painful, and there's that element obviously managing that pain. You know, don't push through it if it's genuinely painful, but you're not gonna hurt yourself anymore. DOMS is basically your body saying you've done something that it's really unfamiliar with and is kind of unexpected, and it's just letting you know about it. So yeah, don't be afraid to go and do, as a bare minimum, some movement that is similar movement pattern. So if you've done a heavy squat day and you're like, actually that's really knackered my legs up, that classic like, oh, I can't get out of a chair, it's like, actually then getting up and down out of a chair a good few times will really help.
Gets the blood flowing.
Exactly, it really supports that recovery, because effectively your muscles have just kind of really tightened up. And are struggling to pump through nutrition, and all that kind of good stuff to make sure that you're able to recover.
Yeah, there's also two other things on that I kind of want to point out as is, number one, however, yes, you should be feeling DOMS the first new program, no matter where you are. Like, for example, I started a new program last week and I felt it last week. However, 3-4 weeks time, you should not still be feeling it really intensely. So if you are, there is so many factors that you could be influencing, again, that recovery. You're not fueling post-workout. I can't exaggerate enough how many people go and do a workout and then go and do the daily life without thinking about going and getting something to eat. You really should be aiming to have carbs post-meal and obviously some protein to align with it. But it's not just always about that protein. So many people quickly nip into shops. You know, for example, Sainsbury's is opposite us at work, grabs a yogurt. That's not efficient enough. Your body, your glycogen stores have dropped. You really need to repair with carbs, and that'll really help to, you know, build that muscle up, help with recovery, and make sure you're not getting DOMS. So many people say to me all the time, oh, I like when I can feel it the next day. It means I've done something. No, that's not a good thing. Yes, there's a difference between feeling it, because, you know, we always kind of feel a little bit like, oh, I can feel my deadlifts a little bit. There's a difference between feeling it and feeling DOMS. If you don't know what DOMS is, by the way, delayed onset muscle soreness, just really means intense soreness the next day. And second thing is, avoid ibuprofen. So many people 100%. Just go, I'm sore today, I'll just pop an ibuprofen. No, because again, you're avoiding your body, letting it get used to the new sensation that's going to be feeling. If you didn't feel it, then like, that means going to the gym is like a normal thing for you. If you're getting these DOMS, it's just because you're putting your body in a different sort of stress. So please stop taking ibuprofen or paracetamol. You're a bit weird if you take paracetamol, but ibuprofen more than anything is for inflamed muscles. If your muscles are not inflamed, you do not need it. Fight through it. Keep moving.
Absolutely. Yeah, and ibuprofen can then lead to, you know, many other issues around the gut and stuff like that. So and also mask other problems that might be going on. So if it's muscle related, like I say, effectively you work through it. However, if you're confident that it is joint related, you know, if you can kind of point to your knee and say it's in my knee or it's in my hip or whatever it might be. So think about where your bony structures are, is the way that I usually say it to clients. If somebody's saying, oh, I've got a back problem, but they're not actually directly pointing at the center of the spinal column, then you know it's going to be muscular. Yeah, it's not actually going to be a kind of ligament or disc-related issue the vast majority of the time. But if you think that it is ligament damage or joint damage or whatever, then absolutely back off and don't do anything at all. Reach out to us, because it might be that there's actually something going wrong in terms of like form breakdown, those kinds of things.
And don't just ignore it, because like Ben said, reach out, because this year, after many years of probably actually struggling, I got diagnosed with arthritis. And again, it's not something that I find easy to talk about, but I went a long time thinking that being this cold, being this kind of stiff was normal. And then I went and got like extra support, because I was that person getting DOMS all the time. And my form was like kept breaking down on the last reps, but because my body needed something else, I get the injections now, but it could be something, obviously I don't want anybody to get arthritis, but it could be something as extreme as that, so please don't ignore it more than anything as well.
Absolutely. Something that I thought could go into on the nutrition side of things, I was going to say hydration can be a big one, because can't you like kind of muscle cramps.
Claire asked me this in our check-in last week, was should I be taking electrolytes? Now I just got one of my other clients who is 77 to start taking electrolytes, because she kept complaining about cramping at night in her feet, and basically they have gone away, thankfully. So why do you need electrolytes, and who should need electrolytes is really important. Everybody is the answer, whether you're training or not. It is when you're, especially on holiday. Sorry, it's going to get really loud here, guys. Bear with me.
I might just pause it. There we go. Sorry if that got a little bit noisy.
Apologies, we're under a tunnel with some football lads. As I said, so everybody should be taking them. Basically, electrolytes is your magnesium levels when they drop. It is. Oh, and now we are in the Tour of France, apparently. Sorry, guys. I know that was really intense. So it's likely if you have over sweated, so especially now in summer and the weather's hotter, or if you've gone on holiday, if you like a few too booze, tends to be a really, really good one to take before going on a night out. And just in general, if you feel like you're somebody that does get cramps quite often and just kind of affects your daily movements, electrolytes help to replenish those missing minerals. Again, there's so many different types. I can upload them to the group chat if anybody wants to know which ones I recommend. You can get the ones which are extremely expensive, or you can get literally some from like B&M. But the biggest thing is make sure I get caffeine free. I have absolutely no idea why there is any at all out on the market which has caffeine in, because that really confuses me when this is meant to be something that rehydrates you and caffeine dehydrates you. So I'm not really too sure on a nutritionist side where that comes from. But yeah, electrolytes are so important. When to take them, that is completely personal. If you are somebody who trains first thing in the morning, I would recommend taking it first thing in the morning, because you are likely very dehydrated. If you are like training midday or not training at all, then just take it whenever feels best for you.
Cool. I think we've covered metaphorically and literally quite a lot of ground there. It's been a nice little stroll. It's been 25 minutes.
I hope you start walking and listening to this as well.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something to say. So me and Joe have decided to do this as a kind of a 30-minute or so, just a way to get some additional steps in, kind of get caught up on life, put that kind of healthy habits in place. So yeah, hopefully you can stick this on. Go and take a 30-minute walk or 20.
I'm on 20.3k steps today, guys. I'm thriving.
I don't know what I'm on. I've not got my watch on. That's my excuse.
Yeah, sure.
That's my excuse. So yeah, hopefully we've covered 3 questions, nearly 30 minutes. But that's kind of the point of these things. We want to get you lovely people giving us these questions in the group chat, and it can be quite tricky just to. Well, I think like you see when I went back to Linny and back to Judith, a quick paragraph doesn't really dig into the detail of some of this stuff. A lot of this, it's not just a simple yes or no, or a really clear-cut answer. So to give us the opportunity to basically come back to you and be like, look, here's some of the more in-depth knowledge, which if you want to listen to us literally ramble on about.
And also, like I said, I might be moving gyms, but I'm not going anywhere at the same time. So again, if it's your way of kind of still asking me anything, more than welcome to.
Yeah.
So I know I'm more knowledgeable than Ben, so you know that's how it works.
Well, maybe on nutrition.
If you are listening on the 30th of July, just as an update, this is before I start my new job. Ladies Who Lift is on for the next 2-3 weeks, but there will be a new location, so let me know if you're interested in coming to the new location once a week for any day of the week. It is not just going to be on a Saturday anymore. It will be different days. Let me know what you'd like to learn in the gym. They are around 45 minutes to an hour sessions. You don't need to be a member, but yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Oh.
And to say, well, you're literally just going, what is it, 15 minutes?
15 minutes, yeah.
It's genuinely not far to get to. So
it's just at the top of the coast road.
Yeah.
Cool. And 5 minutes from South Gosford Metro if anybody gets a Metro.
Yep. And obviously I'm still in and around Snap Fitness. Anybody who is still training there, come and grab us in the gym if needed, as well as in the group chat.
Amazing. Any questions, let me know. If not, that's been Rant and Ramble.
That's Rant and Ramble number 1. Well done. For
that was
the
hard.
voice. Yeah. All right, guys, we will speak to you again very, very soon.
Bye.